Hey Space fans, it's Tarek Malik, editor-in-chief of Space.com, and I may not have the right stuff to be an astronaut or join the Space Force, but you know who does? Colonel Nick Hague of the Space Force and NASA, who just got back from space, and he tells us exactly what it takes to fly in space. Here you go.
So I have a question that I've been dying to ask somebody of your stature for a long time. And I'm sorry to ask it this way because it always seems goofy when somebody says, what is X like? But what is it like to go through test pilot training school? And I guess as importantly as that, how does that prepare you and help vet you for NASA in terms of what an astronaut's capabilities might be?
Yeah, and I'll start with there's no requirement to have test expertise. There's no quota that NASA selects to bring in test professionals as part of its astronaut corps. But I think to get to your point, there's this experience and approach that you end up, the skill set that you develop as part of going through that is very applicable down here. And so if I think back to the point of test pilot school, so I'm an engineer, not a pilot. The first little known fact, the first aircraft / spacecraft that I was in command of on behalf of the federal government was Dragon Freedom that I was the commander for just most recently. So I'm an engineer. So I go to test pilot school as an engineer so that I can learn operations, just like pilots go through test pilot school to learn acquisition and engineering so that we can talk each other's language, but then also have that hands-on practical understanding and build a depth of knowledge about sophisticated, complex machinery. Then work together as a team in order to make it, in my case, an aircraft go do something that it hadn't done before, expand the envelope of performance, and that is that special skill set that I think is applicable down here at NASA. You may not know, but there is now a space test course that is a companion to the flight test course out at the Air Force Test Pilot School that Guardians go through to complete test pilot school. And they're learning those same sets of skills. How do I take complex machinery? How do I take a satellite? How do I do on-orbit operations? And then conduct it in a way that is novel and adapt the way that we have been doing things to the way we need to be doing things in order to meet the challenges of the domain as it continues to evolve. So those skill sets are super important.
So Tarek, I think we ought to ask to audit the Space Force course so we can give them a new benchmark,
right?
New benchmark for low achievement. Yeah,
right. For because they might, so they can see what failure looks like.
I don't know. Maybe you'd find yourself in space if you're a part of the course. I don't know.
Well, he took space camp. What did you go 7 times?
5 times. So that means that I'm trained, right? I know everything. Right?
Yes, but the question is, can you still fit in your jumpsuit? Because I can.
I can, actually. So probably better now than before.